Butch Knight is the picture of the nice old man who lives down the street.
He literally looks like, anybody's grandfather.
A silver-haired, 6'4", 280-pound gentle giant.
He looks like the big teddy bear.
With a smiling, sweet Santa Claus face.
But there's more to big old Butch than meets the eye.
There's always something about him.
He was very secretive.
You couldn't put your finger on it, but you knew something was wrong.
You never really quite knew what he was up to.
And Bad Grandpa Butch would confirm everyone's suspicions in a most horrifying way. Butch enjoyed a pretty easy life in rural Finnville, Michigan, thanks to Sarah, his wife of 14 years.
He never worked. Mom took care of him.
Butch needed to get a job.
The 66-year-old former truck driver had hit the jackpot when he married Sarah.
She wanted to be a good wife, and she was a good wife.
At 48, Sarah was 18 years younger than Butch. And not only did she support him, she waited on him hand and foot.
She worked all the time and then come home and would make him meals and take care of everything.
And she did everything that she could to try and make him happy.
And Sarah, a respiratory therapist who had already raised 2 kids from a previous marriage, never complained.
Would you say their marriage was happy?
Yeah. Mom loved him unconditionally.
But Sarah's 29-year-old daughter Roxanne doesn't.
He's just a grumpy old man.
Ellen Stanley, Sarah's best friend of 30 years, doesn't think much of Butch either.
I don't know what Sarah saw in him.
Ellen says Butch was an overbearing control freak.
He kept her on a very short leash. She brought her paychecks home to him. He controlled everything. He controlled what they ate, where they lived, who she talked to on the phone. He would not even allow her to have enough pocket change to stop and have coffee with a friend.
But Butch, in contrast, came and went as he pleased and answered to no one.
You just don't tell Butch what you're going to do. He tells you what you're going to do.
Ellen says Butch was also mean to Sarah.
I don't think she ever feared for physical damage, but he was so verbally abusive to her, even in front of other people.
Had you ever seen a hint of a violent streak in him?
I've seen him angry, but violent? No.
But then, something seemed to come over Butch that worried Sarah.
She said that Butch was acting a little funny, but I told her, I said, Ma, your anniversary's coming up, so he probably has a surprise for you.
And Roxanne was right.
I strangled her. She's dead and she's laying on the living room floor.
No, this was the surprise.
But why?
Butch Knight looks like your average guy. He even has a pleasant face, kind of like your grandpa. But cops say Butch is not nice at all. In fact, they tell Crime Watch Daily he is a calculating, cold-blooded killer who confessed to murder on a 911 call he placed himself.
Who is this now?
Allegan County Central Dispatch.
Okay, I strangled her. She is dead and she's laying on the living room floor. You need to get law enforcement out there to do whatever they do with dead bodies.
At first, stunned police think it might be a hoax.
It was an unusual call. People just don't call in to report that they committed homicide.
They go to the Knight house to investigate.
Initially, we just saw a body under a sheet, and it was in the middle of the living room floor.
And sure enough, police pull back the sheet to find Butch's wife, Sarah, dead.
Obviously, through strangulation.
Just as Butch had told them in his 911 call.
Are you shocked?
I can't think of a word that's big enough.
Sarah's horrified daughter, Roxanne, is in disbelief.
I couldn't picture him doing it.
And Sarah's best friend, Ellen Stanley, is inconsolable.
It's like somebody had just ripped my heart out because she was my baby sister.
But their grief turns to anger when we play them Butch's 911 call and they hear his heartless confession for the first time.
I strangled her. She is dead and she's laying on the living room floor.
What does this tell you about the person you thought he was?
He's cold.
You need to get law enforcement out there to do whatever they do with dead bodies.
Whatever they do with dead bodies. That is so typical Butch. So cold and calculating and in charge and in control, and such an idiot. To be so callous and so cold as to refer to this woman that he's supposed to love as a dead body.
Now everyone is asking the same question.
Why?
Police are desperately searching for the answer, and one Harold Butch Knight, who's vanished in his dead wife's car, leaving only one clue to his whereabouts.
And what's your name, please?
That's not important. I'm getting ready to leave the country.
Cops have traced the 911 call to Ann Arbor, Michigan, 150 miles from Fenville, in the direction of Canada.
We alerted authorities over there, the Border Patrol agents, to keep an eye out.
Detectives also know Butch has a gun and is flush with cash when they uncover this surveillance footage of him at a local bank the day after Sarah's murder.
Our investigation uncovered that he had visited their bank and he emptied his bank account out. It also showed that he had gone to a firing range, did some target practice, and purchased a weapon and ammunition.
That says what, Detective?
It tells me that he can be considered armed and dangerous at this time.
Scary.
Yes.
And Captain Larson begins to draw a disturbing psychological profile of Butch from evidence at the murder scene.
There were items and articles of hers that were placed near her, among which were a folder on a table that included phone numbers and addresses to family members for us to contact.
Scrapbooks, Post-its, details, as if he's playing some sort of game with you.
It was something that in 21 years with the sheriff's office, I've never seen the likes of.
Then another Butch sighting, this time in Farmington, Maine, courtesy of a Walmart surveillance camera, just 4 days after Sarah was strangled to death. Butch is almost unrecognizable with his gray hair and mustache dyed black and dressed to kill.
He was wearing a full one-piece snowmobile type suit, camouflage hat with the fur on the outsides.
Police later find Sarah's 2009 Subaru Forester abandoned in the Walmart parking lot and learn Butch had hitched a ride to the town of Ridgely.
This part of Maine is very remote. There's not a lot of law enforcement presence. I think he knew that. That's maybe one of the reasons why he went to that area.
It's also within 10 miles of the Canadian border.
And that is the last time anyone has ever spotted him.
In nearly a year.
Where do you think he is right now, if you had to guess?
He could possibly be anywhere in Maine. He may have tried to cross the border in Canada, as the 911 call said.
And cops still don't have a motive for Sarah's murder, although they suspect marital problems.
I think possibly Mom maybe could have been tossing around the idea of leaving him.
And Ellen says that might have flicked Butch's kill switch.
With his personality and his ego, I can see where he would have been mad enough.
But Ellen is haunted by guilt that she might have been able to save Sarah if she hadn't missed a call from her the night before she met her untimely fate.
And she had left me a message on Facebook, which was kind of strange because all it said was, "I tried to call you." No explanation, no anything.
Ellen didn't get back to her in time.
I just wish every day that I had not missed that phone call, because I keep thinking in my mind that maybe that phone call was that call to say, "Ellen, I'm leaving, can you help me?" And I'll never know, because all I got was, "I tried to call you, and I wasn't there for her."
Now Ellen and Roxanne just want to see Butch behind bars.
They'll catch him. He's not that smart.
You put him in a little box and you leave him there.
Butch, you may be on the run now, but not for long. The cops say they are coming for you, and so is Crime Watch Daily.
We will find him.